Orale, man. What's up, familia? Welcome inside the pad. Hope you guys are doing good. Keep in between the lines. Got your load secure. Okay, here we go. Keeping it going, dog. Month number 9, right? Numero 9. Let's, I can close this out now. Um, just before we get started, I'll go ahead and explain again, dog, just because 1 month can be a long time, or it could be a very, very short time, depending what you're doing in that month, man. But I just want to say is that every single month of this year, I am covering child molestation. Um, I don't hear anybody else covering it, and you guys already know my story. I've told it numerous of times. I've had people come on here and share their story, and I still plan on doing that. There was this one individual that was supposed to come on, not today, but uh eventually they told me that they weren't comfortable, man. And that's cool, that's understandable, especially because the family member is still around. So you know what, hey, I send mines, you know who you are. But I got no guests today. I didn't really plan on it. This month was really, boom, 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 right? So it just kind of slipped my mind, and I'm like, man, we're coming up towards the end of the month. I got to do this, right, to keep my word, Holmes, my palabra. What's up, Faith Ford? How you doing, girl? Orale, Artie Familia's up in here, man. All right, so so with that, I will be dropping the link if anybody wants to come on and share their not their story, but just their thoughts. You know what I mean? Not everybody went through this, and that's cool. That's fine, man. It's hey, I'm glad you didn't go through it, right? But it just thoughts about it. What I don't want is just people just coming on, man, and just being like, "Oh man, you know what? They need to go to hell. They just need to be killed. They all pedophiles need to be killed." Yeah, I get it. I understand that anger, man. I'm not disagreeing with you, but it's just it doesn't do anything. There's nothing there, man. It's empty calories, right? It's like you're stuffing yourself with nothing but empty calories. You're not getting anything out of it, man, and you're not really feeding anything to any solution either. So that's the only thing I ask. But I do want to give a few updates on some statistics that came out. Let me see. I appreciate that. Thank you. Hey, thank you, Faith, for being here. I appreciate that, Artie Familia. Um, I do want to read quite a few statistics um, from the where is this from? This from the National Center of Victims of Crime. What is going on, Beacon of Light, Modesto? You know what? I've said it before. I'm gonna say it again. I got the intro that you got me. I was really planning on implementing it on this video right here. Dang it, man. I just ran out of time, but I will be doing it. He made me a nice little intro, dog. 30-second countdown and everything. Loved it, man. Loved it. It's got me in my in the Halloween prison outfit, man. Talking about Al Bundy. Um, okay, so let's get rolling, dog. Let's get into it. I got a lot of reading to do right here. All right, so let's see. Okay, so this is from the National Center for Victims of Crime. Okay, on sexual child abuse statistics. Let me see. I hear you, but it was an idea. I can make you a better one. Well, hey, I like that one, man. I like that one. That's cool. I'll take another one too, man. We don't just need to have one. Let me see. All right. So now, before I give the statistics, let me go ahead and read this, because I think this is very important, because it explains that the numbers are on shaky grounds. Okay, and here's why. All right, so again, this is from the National Center of Victims of Crime. All right, on child sexual abuse statistics. Okay. The prevalence of child sexual abuse is difficult to determine because it is often not reported. Experts agree. Now, right there, experts, I'm not really sure who's an expert, who becomes an expert, how you become an expert. I really don't know, but either way, experts agree. Oh shoot, I just lost my spot. Okay, experts. There we go. Experts agree that the incidence is far greater than what is reported to authorities. CSA is also not uniformly defined, so statistics may vary. Statistics below represent some of the research done on child sexual abuse. CSA, that's what it stands for, child sexual abuse. Okay, so basically, they're letting you know that the numbers are a little bit chalky, because this type of crime is not really put out there in the spotlight. A lot of people don't come out and look like, okay, so like I came out, right, and said, hey man, this happened to me, right? But I have not told authorities. I have not gone to try to press any charges, right? So I completely get what they're saying. They're saying, look, to the best of our knowledge, this is what we got. These are the numbers right here, to the best of their knowledge, right? Which only makes sense, right? So when I read these off, understand that they've already put a disclaimer out there that, hey, this is shaky grounds, right? So okay, this one actually didn't change. I don't think. I think last time I read this, it was the same. So let's see. 1 in 5 girls and 1 in 20 boys is a victim of child abuse. Okay. Self-report studies show that 20% of adult females and 5 to 10% of adult males recall a childhood sexual assault or sexual abuse incident. During a 1-year period in the United States, 16% of youth ages between 14 to 17 have been sexually victimized. Over the course of their lifetime, 28% of U.S. youth ages between 14 and 17 have been sexually victimized. Let me see. Now, this is a little bit, again, all these numbers are shaky, homie. They're all shaky. They put that disclaimer out there. All these numbers are shaky. Children are most vulnerable to CSA, child sexual assault, between the ages of 7 and 13. I don't know how they came up with these numbers. Okay. I'm not saying they're wrong. They could be right. They look, they're doing studies. All right. I'm doing research. They're actually doing studies. Let's see. Where is the one that I really wanted to read here? What's up, Mr. Garcia? Let me see. The numbers should have been lowered by now. It's 2022. Should have. But man, there was one that I was reading. It was really good. I liked it. Okay. So here are statistics again, according to their studies on kids that are most likely to be victims of child molestation. Okay, this right here, I don't think I've ever read off before. Let me see. I want to make sure I start right from the top. Okay, so a child who is the victim of prolonged sexual abuse usually develops a low self-esteem, a feeling of worthlessness, an abnormal or distorted view of sex, which I want to get into that. The child may become withdrawn and mistrustful for adults and can become suicidal. Okay, now this is the part that I want to get to right here. Children who do not live with both parents, as well as children living in homes marked by parental discord, divorce, domestic violence, have a much higher risk of being sexually abused. That's what I'm talking about. Okay. That's what I'm talking about. I'm going to read that one again. Okay. Children who do not live with both parents, as well as children living in homes marked by parental discord, divorce, domestic violence, have a higher risk of being sexually abused. Okay. Now, when this happened to me, my mom and dad actually were together at that time. We were living in an apartment. Okay. And at that time, there was abuse going on between my mom and dad, right? I did see my father hit my mother. I've told that story before. You know, she fell on top of me. I always remember the cup of water that I was taking to my brother, right? My brother was sick. He had like a fever or something, and I went. I got him a cup of water. My mom was arguing with my dad. uh, she took a swing at him. He blocked it. He smacked her. She falls on top of me. And I just always remember the cup of water because I try to hold on to it and I dropped it. I spilled it. And I got up and I ran to the room. What's up, Martin 9400? Makes sense. It does make sense, man. And I hope it makes sense to everybody that's listening, dog. Okay. That makes 100% sense. Okay. When things like this happen in a home, that already lowers the confidence of a child, okay, of a kid, when they do not have, that good mom. Now, I want to make it clear when it says right here, when children do not live with both parents, I want to make it clear, man, we're talking about good parents, right? We're not talking about, because they made it clear right here. All right. Domestic violence, right? We just can't have two parents that are out there just smacking each other around, cheating on each other, doing sick things behind each other's backs. No, we're talking about a good, stable home. We're talking about a good mom, good dad, both of them there, involved with their kids, involved in their kids' lives. Those kids seem to have some sort of confidence that these predators look at and be like, I'm not messing with that kid. Okay, that kid has a strong foundation to stand on. All right. But when you have kids, dad left, right? Or there's domestic violence, that kid's already getting screwed up. That kid's foundation is already all shaky, homie. That it's a soft foundation, right? Predators are able to see that and see like this kid's already troubled. Right? This kid is missing something. There's a void in this kid that I could come in and fill. Right? With his sick fetish that he has, or she. So that is very, very important, man, for everybody to take in. I do want to get to where was it? A feeling of worthlessness and an abnormal or distorted view of sex. Definitely want to get into that, man. Parental discretion is advised if you guys are watching this with your kids or something, man. But definitely want to get into that in just a second or two. Okay. The vast majority of cases where there is credible evidence that a child has been penetrated, only between 5 and 15% of those children will have genitalia injuries consistent with sexual abuse. So basically, it's not always going to show, if a kid says that they were sexually abused and they were penetrated. It's not 100% that you can take them to the doctors and they can say, okay, yeah, we can tell, right? There's going to be some situations where you're not going to be able to tell. I'm not in the medical field. I'm reading off of this. Okay. Again, this is the National Center for Victims of Crime under child sexual abuse statistics. So that's basically what that's saying right there. It's saying, yes, obviously you go to the doctor or the hospital or whatever, and hopefully they could come up with some sort of evidence if something like that did happen. And if something like that did happen, it's unfortunate that they cannot come up with some evidence because then it's a little bit harder. It becomes a more of like, he said, he said, she said, she said, he said, she said kind of thing, man. So that's I did not know that. I did not know that. I thought you could take them to a hospital or what have you, and a doctor could just tell. But unfortunately, that is not always the case. And we're talking about penetration here. Okay, so we're talking about specifically about penetration, right? So it's not just oral or just any of that stuff, man. We're specifically talking about penetration, right? Um, I am just going to assume I'm not an expert in any of this stuff. Okay, I'm just going to assume if it was done violently, then chances are they're going to be able to find something out, right? But a lot of times it's done, with family members, somebody trustworthy, right? That the kid put trust in, and this sick individual knew that, and it wasn't done violently, and maybe I'm just assuming. This is just my assumptions, and maybe because of those cases, man, you can't really tell. It's that's the way it is. Wow, so sad. It takes a village to raise a child. Well, you know, look, it could take a good mom and dad. I do understand it doesn't. Obviously, all this stuff does not say, hey, if you have a strong mom and a strong dad at home, then that means your kid's never going to be sexually abused. That's not what it means, right? We all know that's not what it means. You could be the safest driver on the road. Okay, does that mean you're never going to get in a car accident? No, it doesn't. But it definitely lowers your chances, right? Okay, let me see. Okay, okay. After this, we're gonna get into the whole sex thing, and I want to get into this too. Okay, um, child sexual abuse is not solely restricted to physical contact. I want everybody to understand that. Okay, let me read that part again. Child sexual abuse is not solely restricted to physical contact. All right, so then what is it? Okay, such abuse could include non-contact abuse. What are we talking about? Such as exposure, which I man, dog, that's some sick stuff, man. I mean, don't get me wrong, the contact thing is much more worse, but there's wow, dog, where somebody just wants to be exposing themselves to kids. I mean, it's just like, hey, I'm just pulling my pants down, just look at me. Like all this stuff, Holmes, all this stuff is just straight weirdo, homie. Such as exposure and child pornography, etc., etc. Okay, so child pornography, obviously, man, you gain a kid and saying like, "Hey, let's sit down and watch some porn together." That's way off, right? That's child sexual abuse right there. Okay, that's first of all, homie, that is so sick beyond belief. All right, that's just plain out and simple. All right. Um, but you just pulling your pants down and doing sick things like that, and that's all under child sexual abuse, man. So, and if you ask me, which nobody has, but I'm just going to give you my answer. If you ask me, anybody that's doing things like that has non-contact sexual abuse with kids, doing things like this, watching porn with kids, or exposing themselves to kids, in my personal opinion, I believe at some point they're going to have that contact with the child. I believe at some point, I think they're warming themselves up to start physically messing with kids there, but I don't think, again, there's just my thoughts, man. I really don't think there's somebody that's just gonna do things like that and not touch kids. I think at some point they're going to start diddling with kids, man. So I'm glad they got that added in there. See, sub just popped in. Have to disagree with village metaphor. Okay. I mean, hey, dog, look, I say strong mom, strong dad. You know what I mean? I would just say when I've heard people say that, right? And they say it in so many different ways. A lot of them, well, not a lot of people, but I've heard some people say that, hey, money, right? It's like the village put in some money. I kind of disagree with that, man. But I would just kind of say, like, hey, everybody, just watch out in your community, man. That's it. Just watch out, man. My dogs ran away the other day. You know, my beautiful, crazy local wife found out that there's a dog watch community here where we live, and she joined it. Where it's like if a dog gets out, it's like, oh, we know whose dog that is, or they just go on there and say, hey, somebody's dog out. This is the type of dog, whatever the color of the dog. Boom, you know what? It's like the village just helping each other. In that case, yes. As far as raising your kid, that is strictly up to mom and dad. Uh, what's up, Zig Mister? Okay, that metaphor can be compared to the Catholic Church. Yeah, that's unfortunate, man. That's unfortunate. My mother knew a child was being molested because the person was with things like he was her boyfriend. Hmm. Well, it's not a metaphor. It's a quote from someone, right? It takes a village to raise a child. Yeah, disco. Yeah, yeah, you're right, man. Let me see. Neighbors, helping neighbors strengthens the community. Yes, as long as there's, as long as there's still barriers. That's what I should say, man. As long as there's still barriers, right? I mean, my house is still my house, dog. Right? It's like, hey, I mean, you don't come and tell me what to do in my house. It is my house, it is my yard, my everything, dog. Okay, but and things like I just explained, stuff like that. Yeah, of course, man. If you see somebody that looks a little sketchy going around and driving slow and rolling down their windows and trying to talk to kids. Yeah, man. Hey, man, there should be some sort of communication. Be like, hey, you know what? I just saw some car, weird dude, or just some guy trying to talk to kids. Who knows? Maybe the guy wasn't really doing anything. Maybe he did lose his dog and he's just not getting out of his car and just saying, hey, did you see my dog? Is this color, that color, whatever? Maybe that really could be the case. However, it would be nice, man, for the community and neighbors to come on and just say, like, hey, look, guy in this car was asking this kid that. That is it. Okay. So just boom. Right. And everybody obviously teach your kids. So anyway, teach your kids about strangers and all that. But anyway, neighbors helping. It's an African proverb. Ah, I didn't know that. I didn't know that. More 9400. All right, so let's get into that this right here. Okay. It can get okay, so somebody that has been through sexual molestation, right? It can get them to have an abnormal or disordered view of sex. Okay. All right. Let's talk about this again. If you guys have your kids or whatever, I got to speak on this. All right. But I definitely want to say this. Driving around town, kids, I agree. I agree. I wouldn't do it. Even if I lost my dogs, I would not be uh, asking kids any question, man. I agree. I agree. But not everybody thinks that way. Okay, so let's talk about this. Okay. Look, once upon a time, look, again, for those that just came in or have never heard or anything like that, man, I was sexually molested as a kid, and so many others were as well, and I had them on. Okay, so I will say, man, I did have unhealthiness to porn, right? Um, it Let's talk about porn real quick, okay? When I was a kid, we're talking about the 80s, right? When I was a kid, man, coming up on porn was like it was hard, man. It was hard to come up on a naked girl, right? A topless girl. All right. Again, I hope your kids aren't listening or anything, man. But it was tough. It was tough, man. It was tough to see a topless girl. It really was. It's not like today. Okay, back then, you want to see a topless girl, man. You would hope that you could watch a movie that showed a little nudity. Okay. Um, if one of your buddies had a Playboy magazine where they're just topless, it's like, man, that guy was, he was one of the coolest kids on the block. If somebody actually had a VHS porno, my goodness, man, that kid was like king of the block, right? He was the coolest kid ever, man. All right. Today, that's not the case. Okay. Today, you can watch the most perverted, most vulgar stuff there is out there, the most filthiest stuff there is out there, man, just right here on your hand, right? You got your phone. Okay. Now you can go ahead and block for your kids. You can do that stuff. But what about their friends? Okay. Doesn't mean that they no longer have access at all. I see you guys' comments. I'll be reading them right now. And I will be dropping the link. Doesn't mean that they have zero access to it just because you block it on their computer, their phone, whatever it may be. Now, me, myself personally, yeah, man, I did have an unhealthy relationship with porn once upon a time, right? And I just kind of thought, like, hey, dog, everybody watches porn. It's porn, Holmes. Everybody watches porn, dog. It was like normal. And then I started realizing that, wow, I'm probably watching a little bit more than the average vato, dog, because every time I would talk to my homies, it's like they ain't really watching it, right? And I'm over there, I'm watching it. It's like, yeah, go and watch it, whatever. And there's like teenage years. I was getting, I had zero standards. Okay, I would have sex with anybody, female, that is. It never drove me to go to that route, the opposite sex or anything, but just I didn't value myself like that, right? And that's basically what this study is saying right here. Okay, I didn't care, skinny, tall, short, big, I you know dark, light. I didn't care. I didn't value it like that. I hope people can appreciate me actually coming on here, showing my face and being real with you guys to let you guys know that I'm, truly real about this stuff, man. Because as this can sound funny, and as people can, laugh and mock and probably make fun of me later on and stuff like that, which that's cool. It comes with the territory. I'm all for it, man. Here's the thing, though, man. It is something that people suffer with every single day. Okay. And it's not like it can really be cured by medication. Or maybe there is. I don't know. I haven't really looked into any medication that's curable like that, but I doubt it. I think it's just gonna be medication that's just gonna, dumb you down or mellow you down or put you to sleep or something. But that's not curing you. It wasn't really till I started realizing that I was having a problem, man. How is it that I really have no standards? How is it that I really can really have sex with you know multiple people in one day and not give a damn about any one of them? Um, I used to back in my dating days, right? Much love and respect to my beautiful, crazy, local wife. Back in my dating days, I used to date a stripper, and she had told me her story when, you know, it happened to her by her uncle, and then later on by her older female cousin. Um, she had told me that every girl that she ever worked with at the strip club had some sort of story of molestation. And some of these girls went off and did porn. I don't know if they became big stars in porn or anything like that, but she's all like, yeah, some of them do some porn and stuff like that. And they all had some story of their past of something like this happening to them, which only makes sense to me because, yeah, I saw. I'm being real with you guys, man. I could have seen myself going down a route like that. Yeah, I could have. I thank God I didn't. I got two sons today. What are they gonna think? So let me get. I want to get to the next one, but let me get to you guys' comments. Shoot, I know I fell way behind. Let me see. CT, nice see you again, brother. Hey, what's up, Nunez, Adrian? The question is, who funds porn? Oh, well, it's like Beavis and Butthead when they found the porn mag in the trash. They went crazy. Yeah, I mean that's how it was when I was a kid, man, in the '80s. That's really how it was, man. How you doing, Vanessa? Faithful, yes, Cholo. Vanessa, this is deep tonight. Oh yeah. Let me see, Cholo, you're speaking for a lot of people, but you got balls for telling the public about it. Hey, gracias, butthead. Hey, by the way, where's Beavis at? Tell the kids to go in the other room. Okay, it is normal. As an adult, pornography is normal. Yes, I am appreciative, Cholo. Gracias, Faith. So yeah, I could have seen myself going down that route and doing that kind of stuff. It's I'm so glad and happy today that I didn't, that I didn't, man. And it's very unfortunate. It brought me back, when that girl opened up to me. I never told her what happened to me, right? I'm like, Charlie, I'm a guy. I'm not gonna go and tell somebody that some other dude, an older guy had his way like that. I mean, childless, man. What's unfortunate is I think that pride kind of eats away at the males. Now, don't get me wrong. I've said this before. I'm gonna say it again. I'm not saying it's easy for girls to come out and say that this has happened to them. I'm not saying it is. All right. I'm sure it's difficult. But I want everybody to understand. Okay. And I'm not making it about me. I'm just making it about every guy out there, man. Because I want you guys to find it in you right here to understand where I'm coming from. All right. I get it. It's difficult for a girl to come out and say that this happened to her. It's that much more difficult for a guy to come out and say, like, hey, this happened to me. If it was done by if it was done by a girl, maybe not. Maybe not as much. It's still sick, but maybe not as much. But when it's done by another guy, man, believe me, it is a rough one to come out and admit something like that. For both male and female, okay? I'm not bringing one down. Okay, the other one I wanted to comment to talk about here was shoot, I forgot which one it was. Okay, child abuse is not solely restricted on physical contact, such abuse could include non-contact abuse, such as exposure and child pornography. I'm gonna tell you guys this, man. Looking back at life, man, I can think of a few situations where it was very inappropriate, right? It's like, hey, there were some older people in the room when this was going on and there were kids around. Thank goodness nothing happened, right? But I can think back and count a couple of situations where it's like, you know what? After reading that, I'm like, yeah, yeah. There's a few situations that that I can think of. And my time, at that time, I didn't really think anything of it. It's just whatever. Here, let me go ahead and drop the link in case anybody wants to jump on. If not, I'm gonna keep rambling on. Let me read some of your comments here. Let me see. Takes a big person to talk about your past, good, bad, respect. Yeah, I appreciate that, big dog. I do, man. Faithful, deep, so true. Yeah, I appreciate that. And I look, I appreciate everybody that has came on and has told their story. And what's crazy is that some of the abusers are still around, and that's the crazy thing. Sharon Rocha, who the wife of Pastor David, this happened to her from I don't want to get it wrong, but it was some sort of officer. I don't think it was an actual cop, but I think he was some sort of law enforcement, and he's still around, man. And what's unfortunate is that once you become a certain age and you find the backbone to come out and say, like, you know what, this happened to me. By that time, it is very difficult to try to build some sort of case. Let's say it's 30 years. I mean, what do you do? All you can really hope for is come out and point out your accuser if you can find them. I got no idea where to find mine, dog. I really don't, man. But you can come out, point them out, and then maybe you're just hoping that more people come out and say, like, oh, that's right, he did that to me. He did that to me too. And more people come out. But if that doesn't happen, then there's really nothing for you to do. But going back to this, pay attention to not just your kids, but different kids, right? The friends of your kids. Are they little horn dogs? I mean, that's a good way to know that something's up, right? Something maybe happened to that kid. You guys know, man. Look, boys will be boys. All right, let's not overstep it. Okay, boys will be boys. Okay, but it's not just take a look at your kids. Take a look at their friends as well. Right? Has their friends gone through something like this? All the stuff that it pointed out right here. Everything from the low self-esteem, their worthlessness. Basically, are they little horn dogs and stuff like that? Is that all they're talking about? Are you catching them talking about that a lot? Things of that nature, right? Because it's not just your kids, but it's also who they hang around with, Holmes. I believe you. Hey, thank you, Faith. Hey, what's up? The Sea Dog and Cooper Show podcast. What's going on, man? But one last thing that I really wanted to be talking about here was, let me see. I think it was this one. It's a little bit long. Let me see. Compare those with no history of sexual abuse. Young males who were sexually abused were 5 times more likely to cause teen pregnancy. Let me read that again. Compared to those with no history of sexual abuse, young males who were sexually abused were 5 times more likely to cause teen pregnancy, 3 times more likely to have multiple sex partners, and 2 times more likely to have unprotected sex. That's according to the study. Okay. That's according to the study. So definitely makes sense to me. I can see that. I am not going to say that all this is true, but what I am going to say is mingling with a couple of people that have been sexually abused, okay, myself included. This does ring true. Okay, but I cannot tell you that all of this is 100% true solid. I can't say that because I didn't do the research. But it does speak volumes to me. It does say, like, you know what? It is running parallel with what I have seen, with what I have witnessed. It does. So, again, familia, pay attention. Okay. And I definitely want to go back and read this part because I want this part to stick. I want it to stick. Children who do not live with both parents, as well as children living in homes marked by parental discord, such as divorce or domestic violence, have a higher risk of being sexually abused. Let that sink in and let that marinate. And let's not keep on repeating. And let's not keep on, this whole thing of a single household, it's good or it can be good or stop it. Stop trying to make it about you, whoever you is, dad, mom, whichever one of you. Stop making it about you. It's about your kids. It's not about finances. It's about having a solid foundation for your kid. Not money. Not yes, we can definitely include money. Obviously, they need, right? You need to make a living and you need to provide. Absolutely. But you gotta have that foundation for that kid to be strong. So they won't feel worthless. Right? Where their life has meaning, they feel that. Predators are more likely to stay away from those kids. And once a kid is sexually abused, all that is ripped out of them. And most likely, okay, most people that I've talked to, when they're sexually abused, it happens to them again. You guys want to know why? Because their whole self-esteem is already ripped out. And predators are able to see that. And they see a hurt kid with little to no self-esteem anymore. And they target that kid. And that kid starts feeling more worthless. It happened to me by 3 different people at 3 different times in my life. So it does ring true to me, right? It happened to me when I think I was about like 4 or 5 years old, something like that. Then it happened to me again when I was like 7 years old. Then it happened to me again when I was like 9 years old. You talk to Sharon Rocha, it happened to her all the way through her teen years. Once it happens to your kid, once it happens to a kid, their self-esteem is gone, man. And predators see that. All right. So again, strong foundation. A child who is a victim of, oh, sorry about that. No, children who do not live with both parents, as well as children living in homes marked by parental discord, such as divorce or domestic violence, have a higher risk of being sexually abused. So I want to go ahead and leave you guys with that. Let me see. That's good to know. It's about the kids and our foundation. Definitely, definitely. Nobody want to jump on? That's cool. That's all right, man. I'm about to get up out of here anyway. I just want to go ahead and give this one right here for month number 9, and we're gonna keep on going all the way to the end of the year. That's for sure. And I will be having people come on and chop it up with them more about this. Again, I want to say this because I don't know who's watching, and it doesn't even have to be this year. Okay, and maybe some people might disagree with me. That's okay. That's okay. The people that I've had come on here are always the victims of child molestation. Okay. And I will invite anybody who has been a victim of child molestation, right? Thecholotrucker at yahoo.com. You can find that email in the description of this video and pretty much all my videos. Okay. So I would definitely have an open door for you to come on here, share your story, and maybe you've defeated the monster, maybe you haven't, I don't know, but we can definitely chop it up. Okay, so that is always there. However, I do want to say this too. If you are the predator, I'm inviting you to. Open invitation to you as well. Not for you to come on here and glorify your sickness, but no, if you want to come on here and talk about what makes you tick that way, it's open to you as well. As always, familia, live your life like you're on the road. Be aware of your surroundings. Always keep it safe. This is blood makes you live, but loyalty makes you family. Till next time, this is Ed the Cholo Trucker. Over and out.